Cheers, hey, do buckaroos. How the heck are you? Yeah, what the hell? One more time. It's feeling anyway. What do you got, Tom? I've got the Hop Lobster Hoppy Red Ale. One thing I've always loved about this beer, I love the flavor, I love the beer, but one thing I've always loved about it is the name, right? Hop Lobster, yes, but Hoppy Red Ale is what I've loved about it because it didn't call itself a red IPA. Say it's a hoppy red. That's always been my advocation, right? I say, call them hoppy reds, call them hoppy blacks. Don't call them black IPAs. Don't call them red IPAs. Just call them a hoppy red, hoppy black. Anyways, I digress. 5.9%, it says. No, this beer has been resurrected. I have been told that they did take some liberties. They did change it up a little bit to make it more, modern. I was told that they replaced the crystal malt, which it originally had in it. Well, there's some other things going on. Maybe the little more modern hoppage. The bottom line though is that this beer is absolutely gorgeous. It's every bit as good as it once was. So earlier in the year, they did this they did a red rye. They did a bourbon barrel or barrel aged version of, but when they came out with that red rye, I said, what you need to do is take that red rye and call that the new Hop Lobster because it was still a red IPA or red hoppy red, I guess. Yeah, and they didn't, but they got close, I guess. Bottom line is, I would have been fine with them just rebranding the Hop Lobster, right? It didn't have to be exactly the same beer. I just wanted a version of that beer to come back. And that's what they did here. Look how beautiful that pours using this glass. That is definitely red, is it not? It's definitely red, Tom. Definitely. Most definitely. I went total Rain Man on you there, didn't I? Anyways, I digress. Here's what I got. Hey, what else you got, Tom? I got about 2.5 ounces of my Tiakida double barrel rye that I'm going to pair with this because they're sister companies. You see. Oh, that's gorgeous. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. I'm gonna pick up this beer. Uh, Happy Saturday to my friends that are still with me. If I didn't irritate everybody with my last video. Sometimes it's by design, folks. Sometimes you just gotta, Of course, I was making jokes about the boomers, and I got 3 older siblings, all in that boomer generation. Of course, it was a joke. It was meant to be taken all in as fun, but it does amaze me sometimes how people take my videos and take them to heart. This is he's serious. He's really mad about. No, I'm never mad about anything, man. It's all a joke. Everything's a joke. Anything you've ever seen in any of my videos, I was having fun. If you've taken it serious, if you've taken it to heart, really, that's on you. That's not on me. Relax, man. It's all a joke. Everything's a joke. Anything I ever say is meant to be tongue in cheek. Because after what I've been through, the truth is, if I didn't find a way to make fun of everything, I would absolutely lose my mind. The only thing that keeps me out of a padded room is acting like I belong in one. If that makes sense to you. Yeah, that's the truth. The only thing that keeps me out of a padded room, the only thing that keeps me out of a straitjacket is acting like I belong in one every day. It's the only thing that keeps me together, man. The nose on this beer is absolutely insane. This beer is absolutely gorgeous. Can I go back in my Wayback Machine and compare this to the original? Yeah, actually, no, I can't. But I can tell there is some differences. The truth is, it doesn't matter. The Hop Lobster was always meant to be a hoppy red ale. So if you could change some things around and still make it the same. The truth is, I would have been very happy if they just would have took that red IPA, that red rye IPA, if you will, and kept it as is, and just put a Hop Lobster label on it. I'd have been okay with that because it was close enough, right? It was close enough for rock and roll. Nazareth, close enough for rock and roll. Great album, anyway. It's a great Nazareth, close enough for rock and roll. Great album. Anyway, anyway, I digress. Oh, mercy. I'm losing me marbles. I'm losing me marbles, man. Anyway, let me set that down for a second. We'll pick this whiskey up because I wanted to let that kind of rest a minute. This rye, double barrel rye, 92 proof, finished in sherry cask. So you can feel those sherry notes in here as well, which makes this a beautiful Manhattan. I gotta tell you, it really, yeah. I mean, wow, it makes a gorgeous Manhattan. But I poured a nice pour there to drink neat with you while I'm having the hop lobster. The very first video I did for the hop lobster, the truth is, it was so far back that it was even before the hop lobster had a label, right? It was still Mueller Ales back then. It was called the hop lobster, but it had that generic Mueller Ales label on it. Yeah, that's how far I go back, man. I go back a ways. I go back a ways. I go back a ways. But now they got the actual hop lobster label on there. This rye is spectacular, but what those sherry finished in sherry casks, what that does is it adds some notes that you typically wouldn't find in a rye, right? You're not typically looking for fruit notes out of a rye, uh, but that sherry cask is going to add those in there. How my friends doing out there tonight? So starting next Thursday, little self little you know little self promotion. Starting next Thursday, my StreamYard. I'm going to change the game up a little bit. I'm going to start a new series called At the Pub. It'll be a 1 hour show that I hope to be doing on Thursdays moving forward from 6 to 7. Be a 1 hour show. There may be, there might be multiple guests on. I might have one guest on for the whole hour. I might have a couple, 3 guests on throughout the show. It may be me. I am happy to say, though, that for the first 3 weeks, I do have guest books. So I'm really happy about that. But I do want to make something clear, though. This isn't a beer review show. It's not a whiskey review show. It's an At the Pub show, right? We're at the pub. We're having a conversation. So the folks I've invited are beer guys or whiskey guys, but they're all I've also invited musicians, some local, some not so local, some folks I've known for a lot of years. Because I'm looking to do something just a little bit different, right? I do want to talk about the beer and whiskey we might be drinking, but I want it to be kind of an organic conversation, right? We may work out some of the topics in advance, but the conversation itself is going to be completely unscripted. As if we were just meeting in the pub. You got a couple of friends just meeting in a bar, man. We're just hanging out. This is what we're going to talk about. So there's some of the topics may be, figured out in advance. However, none of the conversation is. And there may be topics added that we didn't, think about in advance. As the conference, sometimes as you're having a conversation with somebody, something else will come up, and that's what I'm hoping to convey, I guess. Just an organic conversation an actual at the pub conversation with me and a guest or 2 or 3, depending on how it works out. But anybody that knows me, anybody that's known me for a period of time, anyway, especially those that have grown up with me, knows I'm every bit of a music guy as much as a beer and whiskey guy. So I do want to explore those avenues as well. So there's a few local musicians that I've been in contact with, some not so local I've been in contact with, and some more that I need to contact that I haven't yet. As I said in a couple of previous videos today, is that watching a television show the other day, the character said, the answer is always no until you ask. So when I apologize, I'll apologize for asking this. The answer is always no until you ask. So I thought about that a little bit. Yeah, the answer is always no until you ask. So there's a few folks that I've reached out to that I realize are way out of my league that have no reason to ever do a show with me. However, the answer is always no until you ask. So I am going to ask some folks, and kind of I'm kind of shooting for the moon. So I don't want to say anything now about what people might be, but I'm hoping to get lucky. I really am. There's a few folks I've reached out to that are way, way, way out of my league, or they're not even. I'm way out of their league. I guess might be a better way to say that. I'm nowhere near their league. I'm not even. They're the major league. I'm not even A ball, right? I'm rookie league, but I'm hoping to get some of these folks on here. And the honest answer is, I mean, I doubt it, but I'm shooting for the moon here. And again, all they can say is no. But there is a handful of folks that I've had as social media friends for a long time. So I'm kind of hoping, right? So I'm going to reach out to a lot of these folks that I know have no reason to ever say yes to me, but I'm going to reach out to them anyway in hopes that I could at some point say, guess who I got on the show this evening? You're not going to believe who's going to have an actual conversation with me, but here we are. So I'm really hoping to get lucky. But for the first show, for the inaugural show, I'm going to have the one, the only Beer Samurai. The Beer Samurai's been around for a long time. I consider the Beer Samurai a friend, and it's kind of a conversation I would like to have too. Is that can you be friends with somebody that you've never actually met in person? Now I'm going to say yes. Samurai and I have known each other on social media for well over a decade, although we've never had an opportunity to meet in person. But I feel like I know enough about him at this point to consider him a friend, and I think he knows enough about me because we've shared a lot over the years, even if it was just a conversation over social media. So anyway, so I'm really looking forward to that one, and I'm looking forward to several others as we get through. I'm not really ready to announce others until I know they've completely firmed up, but like I said, I'm like a rookie league player. I'm reaching for folks that are in the major leagues. So we're just going to see how it goes. I'm beginning this podcast format, hoping to find folks that are way past that. So I know I'm shooting for the moon with some of these guys, but I feel like I have to give it a shot. They can tell me no, and I'm not going to get my feelings hurt, but I feel like I have to try at this point. So if I can get some of these guys to say, okay, oh man, it's going to be a great show. But then again, I'm looking for again an at the pub format. So I'm going to have some beer guys. I'm going to have some whiskey guys, but musicians. Was kind of a wannabe musician way back when. So I really want to talk about a lot of different things. And I was going through my social media friends list. I was talking with my wife. So, I mean, I used to be into sports a lot. I'm not anymore. I do love baseball. I watch some football. I just don't take it all that serious. And some of my friends do, but yeah, I don't have a lot of athlete friends, I guess, like I once had. It's usually beer, whiskey, or musicians. That seems to be my friends list. So it wasn't necessarily by design, but nevertheless, that's where we are. That's where we are, man. That's not by design, but here, nevertheless, nevertheless, this is the situation we're in. And we're just gonna take it from there, man. Again, I don't want any of this to be taken too seriously because it's kind of what I do. I'm looking for some fun, some irreverence, a whole lot of humor. Although there's a couple guests I do want to tackle some serious issues with. But again, I want the, we might have like 10, 15 minutes of seriousness, 45 minutes of irreverence. And that's kind of what I'm going for here. And I'm hoping to be able to kind of set my guests up, right? Ask the questions that allow them to talk rather than me to talk, because I don't necessarily want to do that. I want them to be able to tell their stories. So I want to be able to set them up. I'm hoping to become a better interviewer as I keep going forward and ask the right questions. Let them answer, let them be able to tell their stories. Let me be the guy that just asks the questions. So I am looking forward to it. Again, it's going to be a learning experience because I've never done anything quite like this before. Starting with the first show with the Beer Samurai. The second show is going to be, gosh, I hesitate to say their name at this moment because they have kind of firmed with me, but I want to have one more conversation before I say their name. But mixologist extraordinaire. So I'm really looking forward to talking with them about that kind of thing as well. And then there's some musicians that have agreed to do the show, but we haven't quite firmed up the date. So I don't want to mention their names either until I know for sure they can do it. Again, some local, some not so local, some regional, but some that have been national acts, and some that are on the verge of becoming national acts. So they might not necessarily be household names, but they're known. They're very well known in certain circles, anyway. I'm not sure what kind of what the hell is that playing about? That's some shit going on right there. I digress. But the more I think about it, the more excited I get about it. Just trying something different, getting out of my comfort zone, if you will, a little bit, and becoming more of an interviewer and less than the guy that has to talk for an hour. So, and I think you're probably looking forward to that too. So I hope to, hone my interviewing skills. But the truth is, there are a few serious conversations I like to get into, but only for a short time of the program. Right? I want most of it to be fun. I want it to be irreverent because it's a lot of what I do. I want to find humor in everything, even things that you wouldn't typically want to find humor in. That's what I want to find because things have to be funny, man. Because the truth is, if it wasn't for my ability to find humor in things that aren't humorous, I would have lost it long before now. It's the only thing that keeps me out of that rubber room in a straitjacket, man. Is being, a little inappropriate at times, I guess. Uh, Now, my life isn't necessarily unusual. I know a lot of folks have been through things, and we all find a way to cope. And my way of coping is, my coping skill is to find humor in things that aren't necessarily humorous. It's the only way I can get by, man. I gotta make fun of the ridiculous, man, or I would never make it. Tiaki da. Elevated Spirits. Oh, these guys are awesome, man. Again, a Springfield Brewing Company, Tiaki da sister companies. So whatever, I'm in some local food groups, and somebody will ask, "Well, my son, my daughter, my whatever is turning 21. Where do you recommend we go?" Well, I always recommend Springfield Brewing Company because you've got fine craft beer, you got fine food, but you've also got great spirits as well. I mean, you got everything right there. You got local beer, you got local spirits. I mean, it's all local. Everything's staying local, right? So that's where I always recommend folks go. Now, if they want more of an upscale menu, I'll recommend other places. But if you want a nice place to go with casual, a casual upscale menu, great beer, great spirits. Yeah, I always recommend Springfield Brewing Company and Tiaki Dock because this stuff is excellent, man. The beer's great, the spirits are excellent, and the food ain't bad neither. So right, man. Again, it all depends on what you like, but the mac and cheese. I like the Nashville hot chicken with the mac and cheese, but hey, that's me. Uh, their wings are great, good as anybody's, better than most. Their pizzas are very nice. Sometimes their specialty pizzas are incredible, depending on when you catch them. Anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. Let me finish this up. Anyway, we're just screwing with you, Tom. I'm still trying to work. So I've got about a week. I've got about a week to work these bugs out. I still can't. Well, it's not necessarily bugs. It's me not understanding the technology, right? So I've got about a week to figure out this technology. I know this. I keep trying to figure this shit out. I just can't quite get there. Mercy. I'm an analog man in a digital world, man. Anyway. Analog man in a digital world. Anyway, I'm from the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom man. I'm also from the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor wisdom man. We don't care anymore, Tom. Cheese biscuits and gravy. All right, good guy. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. And I'm hoping to hear from some of you next week. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm welcome to feedback. So anyway, we'll see how the first episode goes, man.